I would like to take a moment to do something I don't normally do. And that would be to pretty much let you inside my head. Congratulations, you're here now. That said, I'd really like to talk to you a little bit about your words. What I want you to know is your words, and in connection with your words, your ability to not allow anyone to feel alone in this world. I want you to know how much of a difference those things can make. Many of you know me, but a lot of you don't. And what I'd like to tell you is, I do deal with depression. That is not something that I generally talk openly about, but nor is it something that I hide. I don't always feel okay, and I don't always have a lot of hope that things are just okay. I sometimes wonder if things are going to be okay again, much, let alone ever be good again. But the whole point is, through it all, I've had people look and just ask, hey, are you all right? You don't seem very happy right now. What's going on? And to have someone take the time simply to care, to encourage me and just say, hey, look, you're not alone, that has meant the world. And kind of in keeping with that idea, I want to share something pretty important with you. The last few weeks have been incredibly difficult for me. If you were to ask why, or what's made them hard, or why have you been depressed, I would be hard-pressed to actually have an answer all the time. I could sit here and talk about watching my daughter fight a rare and aggressive one-of-a-kind cancer. I could then talk about how grateful I am that she has finished treatment and that everything's okay right now. I could talk about how life is just not always fair. But it's just been a hard couple weeks. In fact, recently someone told me just hang in there. And my honest response was tears, and I just don't want to anymore. This doesn't mean I would ever even consider taking my own life. But I won't lie, there have been times where I've just sat back and wondered if life could ever get better, and just wished that, not that I wasn't here now, but that I'd just never been created. Granted, in following through with that line of reasoning, I recognize the fact that I would not get to be a part of such an amazing life that I have right now. But sometimes it's just so hard not to focus on the pain. What I can tell you is, your words and the things you say to people, especially when they're hurting, they really do make a difference. Let me take last night, for example. Last night, I was having an incredibly difficult time for a lot of different reasons. There were a lot of tears, and I just kind of reached out to a couple people and said, hey, look, I feel like I'm losing it. I just said that, I don't understand how life can just go on like this forever. I said, I need to believe that there's hope, that this isn't a feeling that will never go away. I said, I just need to talk to someone who understands that there are brighter days ahead, who can say, you know what, life sucks right now, but it won't always, and mean it. At about that time, I also saw a little message from a pastor on Twitter, and it said, hey, join us for our live online church service. And part of me just kind of shook my head like, yeah, okay, that's great. So what? What's the point? What would that do? But there was a part of me that said, I gotta listen. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on, but I gotta listen. And then I was having a lot of, kind of technical difficulties, and I couldn't get the thing to work. And then I tuned in, and I heard the pastor talking for a moment, but then they played a video. of a man on the church staff, actually, who had such an important message to share. He had written a blog post, and they turned that into a video. And it was one where he shared with transparency and where he shared vulnerability, but in such a way that it said, hey, look, I've dealt with this. I've dealt with depression. I know what this feels like. I know what it feels like not to want to live. I know what it feels like not to want to go on. To think that life is never going to be better. How could it be? And he explained through it all that it does stink when you're going through something and you can't see the other side sometimes. But he also explained that no matter what you're facing right now, and no matter what you can't understand, what tears you may cry, that you're not alone. And that no one is alone in their struggles. And while in my head, I always, I know this to be true, because that's something, if you know me well enough, you know I will mention more than once that no one is alone. And my thoughts on it all are, this man did not have to share the vulnerability and the transparency that he did. But the fact that he was willing to open himself up to share something so personal with people he didn't even know, it made such an impact on my evening. It shared such hope with me. In fact, this morning when I woke up, I actually felt like a fog had been lifted. I had talked to a lot of people and I knew people were praying for me. But when I went outside even, it's like the world suddenly was a brighter place. It's like I could see colors where before it was just kind of dark. I could see colors and I could just feel happy even for that moment. It was, in all honesty, something that I haven't experienced much of lately. To actually have a smile on my face and laugh and actually have it be genuine, not be something just painted on because I can't dig deeper. Instead, I allowed myself the ability to be happy and the ability to feel other people's love. I gave myself that moment to be happy. The thing I'd like to share is nobody has to share their story. Nobody has to open themselves up with transparency and vulnerability. But sometimes doing so will make such a difference and an impact in other people's lives. The guy who wrote the blog post, who made that video, may never, ever know the impact that it had on me, and I'm certain on countless others. But what I can tell you is, your words matter. What you say to people matters. And just allowing people to be real, allowing people to hurt, allowing people to have pain that they don't even always understand, but allowing them to be human and free to struggle. That right there will make the biggest difference. Allowing people to be real and knowing that it's okay to not always be okay. That will make more of a difference than you can ever recognize. So I would encourage you today, smile at people. Don't smile just because it's the thing to do, but let people know that they're not alone. And when you say to someone, hey, are you okay? Mean it. Wait for them to respond. Don't just make that, are you okay, your, hello, how are you, let's go on with your day. Be genuine with people. Let them know that you care. Be real, be transparent, and let other people know that it's okay to not always be okay.